Hello and welcome to Earthbound, Between Two Breaths on Earth, a science fiction graphic novel that follows two headhunter agents on a mission to Earth to recruit the Sirens of Violence, four deadly warriors in hiding. The Sirens won't come willingly. Luckily, the agents have special weaponry that jacks the target's free will. All they have to do is isolate the Sirens and get a clear shot, a good way to have fun on Earth. For this campaign, Narwhal Comics is releasing the first half of the story. Funding goes to a print run and top ramen, as well as production on the second half. Earthbound means bound to Earth, and printed by Earth. Between Two Breaths means a moment in time, a breathless moment. In the universe, there was a flash of interest on Earth by the powers behind the Galactic Grand Prix tournament, and that is this story. Join me. Let's feel it out and see where this goes.
Ha! Nice. I was telling you behind the scenes, that video is so old. It's like 3 or 4 years old, so it's kind of dated, I think. But yeah.
And I was saying, no, I like it because it's Narwhal. It's so Narwhal. I like it. It's different. You know, it needs to be. Hey, we've got Bandito here. Whoa, new avatar and all. You there, buddy?
Heyo.
What's up, Bandito?
Yeah, well, I'm outside, way out in the country, hanging out at my mom's place. So I figured
Get the just relaxing there. Huh?
Oh.
Look at you kicking back. And Blue
Samurai, what's up?
How's it going?
You're a bit low again. This is a recurring theme, Narwhal. I don't know if you know this.
I live in the
Blue
low.
comes in. There we go. Sounding good.
Nice.
And we got some people in the chat already coming to say hello. Felix,
Am I not?
are you what? You keep cutting out, Bandito.
Am I roboting? Oh man,
A little bit. It's your mama's
A
internet.
little bit, yeah.
That's right.
Usually it's
It's
me.
country internet.
Wow, this is really annoying to deal with.
Maybe
This is what you guys have to go through with
maybe
me all the
this will
time.
not be a night. Maybe this won't be a night for Bandito. I'll just hang out in the chat.
No. Oh no. All right. Well,
All right.
Sad
Well,
to
it's
see you
great to
go.
meet you, Narwhal, and we will talk again sometime.
We will. Nice to meet you, man.
Cheers, cheers.
see you, man. All right. So yeah, Felix is here. He says, "Hail chat, hail the panel," and there, bang, he's already posting the link to part 2 of Earthbound.
Thanks, Felix. I think I'm at 200 right now, people. So goal eventually, I'll launch in 2 or 3 months,
Yep.
or even 3 or 4 maybe. But I want to get to 500 hopefully. So just keep chipping away.
Yeah, that would be a nice goal. Colors are incredibly vivid and wonderful. I'm presuming he's talking about the thumbnail that I posted up, which you put on Twitter. And this is them going to the anyone who's read the first one. This is them going to the dance, I presume.
Yeah, the dance. It's like the big set piece of part 2. And it's actually the climax of Act 2 structure-wise. So there's more that happens after it, but it's kind of like a big shake-up, big build-up to that moment. And I think in the comic, it's actually maybe 30, like a 35-page action scene. So it's like a pretty long action scene.
Jeez.
Nice. Lama Gigante's here. He says he only accepts Narwhal in Soy Zorro form.
I can maybe get my helmet for you. That's Soy Zorro, sort of.
Look at the internet making requests of you. Put that helmet on. DJ2K Comics says, hail. We got Crackhead here. As always, hail the fucking chat. Boogiebot Comics is here. Yo, howdy, hey. Antoine says, cheers. Well, we got a bunch of people here. That's fantastic. They've come out to talk Earthbound and see Narwhal. And us too, of course, Blue, of course.
Yeah.
Nice. Good to see you.
Yeah. Giga Death is here. How Comics Gate. Yeah, Red Gaze is here. Look at these fine fellows looking right back at you, buddy. He says, as Narwhal cleans up, so too does his apartment. Is your apartment looking cleaner there?
Yeah, a little bit. I had a house guest, so I cleaned it.
Oh, hang on.
last
This isn't scandalous gossip, is it?
Yeah, it's a little scandalous. I don't know what to report though. I got some lessons how to like kiss better. And
my God.
The person who I was hosting, that I guess it's a girl. I guess I could say that much. She told me to tell you guys because she wonders if she might be in the chat now, but she said she might be making out with one of you one day. So she wanted me to tell you that if you're ever kissing a girl, don't smush in 100%. You got to pull back once in a while, and then give the girl some leeway so she can make some kissing moves too. You don't hog the dance floor of the kissing arena. That's
I'm not. That's very good advice. I don't have a lot of kissing experience. I've been married now for 17 years. So just a one woman kiss at the moment. Well, from now on, I shouldn't say that at the moment.
It's like wrestling.
What's that?
It's like wrestling. You give your opponent a little space if you know you can use it.
Yeah, but I remember when I was younger, when you were, 13, 14, 15, and you'd be talking about this with your friends, they'd have like techniques, that they would be talking about. Don't go in there with techniques. I find, from my experience, it's been the guy is like just really happy to be kissing a girl, whereas the girl is just like, I could take it or leave it. So let them drive the experience, so to speak.
Yeah, that's married man wisdom is some of the best wisdom too.
There you go. Chaotic Neutral is here, and I saw Joe King is here. Joe, did your campaign close out yet? It must be because you're here. He was doing a closeout stream. We had a lot of fun over on his channel just earlier. Oh, there's Bandito. He says, "How the chat." Yep, but he's slumming it with the chatters. No, not slumming. This is the sexiest chat in CG.
Well, Bandito's in there, so
yeah. Well, it is now. It is now. What is Narwhal's sexiest move? Oh goodness.
My sexiest move is if you like hold your breath and you're gonna come, and then you breathe really hard, and then you don't come.
I
haven't heard that one yet.
Here now.
Narwhal kiss booth at CGCon. Yeah, well, could be a thing. Oh, there you go. So Joe King still has 4 hours to go. Maybe Blue could get that up so we could just have a quick look at Slaughter Squad, because
all right, I'm
it's
on it.
closing out.
I'll find it.
Gusto says no. Well, hey, we invite Narwhal on, and we know who Narwhal is now. So you invite him on, you read his books, you take the Narwhal where he leads you.
I like to talk about dating and the stuff and fitness, lifestyle.
Everything so far is making me think of the phrase "once burned, twice shy." So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's a cool avatar you got there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, that's some
talk
Earthbound 2 art.
Earthbound. Fantastic. All right, let me get some pages up here. So, be kind to me, Chrome. What are you doing? Don't do this. It's not wanting to do anything. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. This is the first Earthbound. So this is finished now, yeah?
Yeah. Fulfilled, yeah. Earthbound, the first 2 Earthbound Indiegogos are kind of like just one that got stopped and started. It's the same print run. And both those are fulfilled.
Yeah, because you did the first one and then you came back and you wanted to do a hardcover, and then Zach came out and did his review, and that's when I got it. Because I was like a lot of people on the fence. Just you've got an unusual art style, and I was always like brought up on the Western style comics. But once I got it, I was so happy that I did.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciated you did a review and a nice tweet, and I was like, ooh, Michael Bancroft. And then your comic looks amazing too. And it's doing really well also, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's doing way better than I ever expected. So I'm super happy too. So this came out, and now, and then you sold out of this, right? You don't have any of this left.
Yeah, and some people are asking, will Earthbound 1 be available with Earthbound 2? Yeah, it will be. And part of this is of the 2,000 copies that I ordered, 1,000 of them were in storage before it even sold out. So those are still in storage. So I'll get those eventually, and then those will go for sale with Earthbound 2. But yeah, the 1,000 that I had with me, they all sold out as soon as your boy Zach did that good review, pretty much like overnight almost. That was weird. That was like, you know, I had an adrenaline rush for a week is kind of what it felt like. It felt
what was it like? What was it like watching that video for the first time?
I know. I think Joe Frago tweeted me, and he's like, he reviewed your book or whatever, and so I watched it, and like his review is funny too because it kind of he's good. He's a good YouTuber. Just he like rambles and he kind of tells stories as he's going. But his kind of punchline for that video was you don't really know if he likes it or hates it for like the first 5 minutes of the review almost.
Yeah,
He's like, I don't know what to say about this book. It's just, is this guy a savant or whatever?
Yeah, Rec 3D is right. He called you a genius, man. It was a really good sell of the book. Like I said, that's when I got it as well. I thought, okay, I really don't want to miss that because when I heard him talking, and you know, we know Zach's influence on CG, and I thought, wow, okay, these are going to start disappearing, and if it really is this good, then I don't want to miss out. And it's still, I said this a bunch of times to people, you know, it's still one of my absolute favorite books that I've read, not only just, you know, in CG, just as a comic. It's such a strange experience, you know, as someone who grew up reading comics. It's not like every other comic. Like I always say, it's like watching a movie, reading a comic. You know, you just kind of go at it at this, the page is turning. And that's when you start to realize, you know, the whole art style that you've got and the way you structure the story, it's all really purposeful. And I think that's where Zach got the, you know, he's the savant genius from.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Zach, he's so objective. So when he does, because he would say it sucks if it sucks. So the fact that he liked it, people tend to really believe him more than his movie reviews. You know, it means a lot.
His movie reviews, it's like if he likes it, if he hates it, then you should like it, and if he likes it, then you should probably not watch it.
If it has a hint of structure in it, he will hate it. That's his movies.
Yeah. Rec 3D, there you go. It's hang on. It's almost like a flip book. You read it so fast. Yeah, that's the beauty of the simple style. Is I remember once I was thinking, this actually happened to me while I was reading it. I thought I missed something, or I was like, did that happen? And normally in a comic, I'd flip back and sort of check it out. But when I was reading this, I was like, oh, I can't go. It's continuing. I've got to keep with the story, otherwise
I can't hit pause. Yeah,
exactly. It's like I was in a theater.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
that'd help you if you have to pee while you're reading it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That is like a little goal of mine. Is I try and go for the longer as long as a sit down time as possible. If people read it in one sitting, that's the goal. And like a lot of people report back that they do, not everyone, you know, but it's cool when that does happen. And the art style definitely kind of supports that. It's just like a simple wash over style. The thing I say about that sometimes is like, you know, looking at one drawing, that style, it's nothing special, but looking at a whole book, that style is a little bit different, you know, then it kind of does feel like kind of like a confident.
Oh yeah, totally. If this was 22 pages, this would be a really hard sell.
Yeah.
You know, but it's 100 pages. You're getting a big long story. How long was the first one? It was longer than that.
Yeah, the first one was like 135, and this one will be like 110 or 120, something like that.
Yeah. So you get a lot of story. And oh man, yeah, no, I really can't rave enough about this. I had such a good experience with it. I can't wait for this second one to drop. And you've also got Foreign Agent. Is that still in demand? Yes, it is.
Yeah, so this is still in demand. This is in the middle of fulfillment. It's like right now I'm waiting for the proofs, and it's been a little bit delayed. Like I think I was hoping they'd come this week. Now I'm hoping they come next week. I'm in touch with the dude to see what's going on. But, you know, that's a nice step in the process. If the proofs come, then I approve them, God willing. And then it's just like a 2-month process for the 2,000 books to get shipped to me in Portland. And then this will start fulfilling. So this will be fulfilling like in the fall, you know. So.
This is your black and white European indie film graphic novel.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah. It's a good companion piece to Earthbound because it's like different in a lot of ways. In some ways, it's a little more serious, but it's still pretty Narwhal-ish. You know, people are gonna like it.
It's Narwhal-ish. What were you gonna say, Blue?
Aren't his pajamas on backwards?
Is maybe, I don't know how the
that's how Narwhal wears his pajamas.
yeah, you get straps
His old style pajamas.
yeah, it's like double breasted but buttons.
Yeah, the flap goes over the back and pulls under and forward. On the
Refugee says, yeah, goes in the back. Hey, look, don't ask me. I'm the guy who goes to work, with my jumper on backwards, inside out.
Yeah, that's funny.
Is that tag supposed to be there? Is that some sort of fashion label? No, I was just tired when I got dressed.
Yeah. Too late to change now.
Hey, Antoine says, Blue, I didn't know you had a channel. Yeah, Blue does some of the best CG reviews going.
You used to do. Now
you used to. Now, you're stuck here with me.
Blue reviewed Earthbound also.
Oh, I haven't watched that. I got to watch that. I watched his one of Vinny, and yeah, it was very impressive. Then what's the other one I watched?
My Earthbound one had so many edits in it because it was just really hard to say the stuff I wanted to say. But hey, I review books I like.
Yeah, I appreciated that review. It was good.
Oh, jumper means sweater. Yeah, sorry guys, I speak Australian. Jumper is a sweater. It's not a kangaroo. Yeah, all right. So this one, this is your more your serious, because Earthbound is pretty zany in its premise and plot and everything, and just the look of it as well. Mm-hmm. But it's perfect for the story that it is. Yeah,
this one is like almost like a Monty Hillman Western, just like these low budget, one location Westerns from the 60s, kind of indie-ish. And this one too, it has like the meta kind of stuff. So it's like this language barrier between this family and these soldiers. They communicate by exchanging drawings. And I hired 2 other artists to do the art within the art, representing the art done by these characters within the story. So the comic will switch art styles if it's showing you a drawing that they're doing to show their friends to try and communicate something. And there's like lots of subtext to like the drawings that they're showing each other and stuff. So
Baron says jumper here is like a one piece of clothing that young girls or infants wear. You might want to clarify what you're wearing. Yeah, no, I'm not into that. So like I'm wearing a jumper right now. This thing, that's a jumper.
Like a jumpsuit, maybe. I wore a jumpsuit my entire senior year of high school. And all my friends did running start, so they went to college, and I got left behind at high school, and I just wore this jumpsuit. I would have looked like the kind of guy who maybe would be like a school shooter.
That does not surprise me in the least, Narwhal. Is this guy here? Is he based on Ethan Van Sciver? Oh, look at this.
No, yeah, I don't know.
I see a resemblance.
Yeah. He's got the big nose.
That's Ethan after he's been drinking on a stream for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Ethan hairline a little bit.
Yeah, that's common, but the drinking part, that's what we see here. Yeah.
I've always said, like, even though your character's obviously really simple, you do draw very sexy women as well.
Yeah,
you somehow pulled that off.
Yeah, that's definitely like a priority of mine. I don't know, that was part of my journey of getting good at art, is like I realized maybe when I was like kind of late, like maybe 20 or 22, I was like, I can draw dudes, but I can't draw women. I'm like, what's with that? I need to start drawing more women. And so I went through like almost like a feminist phase where I was drawing a bunch of women and got a little bit better at it.
Well, as long as the people, I mean, obviously, the whole direction is to draw women ugly and fat and, whatever, normal. Trust me, you can go through Twitter at any time and find some, real women who are not at all like the feminist ideal of a chunky, ugly woman.
Yeah, now it's like totally upside down kind of world, or it's so strange.
About your
EVS did say that was him. Oh. He's claimed that guy.
about your drawings, when you're plotting out your story, you do think through why to frame things a certain way. And I don't just mean the camera angle, but I mean like how wide does a frame need to be, things like that. And so, I mean, these stories, they just move like they are. Well, it's what you said earlier. If it were just a couple of frames, it'd be like, yeah, whatever. But then when you're reading it, because it moves, it really works, your art style. So what I'm wondering is, how do you plan out, like, looking down the street like this, what are we trying to get here in the art? We can see people walking between the car and the building, but we can also see down the street. We get a scope of the neighborhood. In the first book, that helped me not be so, not have these little blinders on, and I get a better sense of the setting and where we are. And it lets me breathe a little bit with the setting in the background. So I like it. But why do you plan out your panels the way you do, or do you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think part of that's like a European influence where they do, like, they don't care. They don't get intimidated by drawing big old backgrounds. And my style is still pretty minimalist. So if I get the perspective just right, it's not a crazy amount of detail like on that street, but with the perspective, then it does put you in the space and make you feel there. Like the panel will look almost like a window into another world rather than like something flat. And that can kind of help with sucking you into the page. And so I've just always have liked that. And there was a phase where I, for a long time, was intimidated by backgrounds. And so I kind of forced myself to get good at that over time, and working a little bit in some low poly 3D programs kind of helps get an understanding of perspective and stuff. And the thing I always say about perspective that kind of applies to that is like, there's actually like two kinds of perspective. There's like a long angle lens perspective, which would approach almost something like an isometric perspective where all lines are parallel and it gives you this voyeuristic feel. And that would be like if you just zoom in on like your teeny tiny spot of a wide angle, it would look like that. But and then there's a wide angle where it has that kind of what we've learned in high school or whatever. We got the vanishing point, blah, blah, blah. And you can switch between those two kinds of perspective whenever you want, and for story purposes. So if you want that just like more of an insert shot, a quick shot with a blurry background, that's like a long angle lens. If you want to do an establishing shot to give an understanding of the space, then that's like a wide angle shot you might want to do.
So when you're scripting, do you kind of plot out your pages then, because you're doing both, or do you wait until you're drawing it a bit and decide, okay, I need to reframe this a little, I want to do 2 panels at the bottom and 2 that are 1/3 of the page? Like, where do you start figuring that out in your writing and drawing process?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I write the script completely like a movie script. Then I go through and do a thumbnailing pass and thumbnail like usually like 10 pages at a time or something. And that will take a fair amount of time and a fair amount of thought will go into that. But that's when I figure out where each page breaks, how many panels are on each page, and like what the camera angles will be and stuff like that.
Okay, nice.
All right, I just signed up. I mean, I'm gonna get the book anyway, but you get a zine or something?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a free art zine for the secret tier. It's just kind of simple, but just a little cool little art book.
So is that going to be with a tier like that you on the page when it launches? So you'll have access to that tier, or it will just be everyone who signed up and backs the book?
Yeah, it'll be just for the people who are signing up for the mailing list.
Okay, cool. Because I remember John was talking yesterday that he was going to make it for the future going forward, that he's going to have whatever this thing is you sign up for being a tier, because he obviously gets so many backers. You've got to actually Indiegogo doesn't actually do anything manually, automatically for you. You've got to actually go through manually, either in Excel or whatever, and line up whoever signed up through this with whoever's gone on to back the book. For someone like me, I've got 500 backers. It's a little bit of a job, but it's nothing I can't manage. But I imagine for like Ethan or other guys, you've got.
Maybe it will be like a secret tier only to this mailing list. And then I think that will work. You know what I did before with Foreign Agent was I did first day backers only, and the mailing list is just a good way to get to know on the first day. But then on the first day, I could just check. I was like, it was 212 backers on the first day. So the first 212 people are going to get the bonus book. So that was a little simpler.
Yeah. I did a first day. Everyone gets a free sketch card as well. And again, that's super simple. You just see whoever backed it on that day, and that works. But I mean, these are all good problems to have. It's funny you should mention the perspectives, because I was just reading, and you mentioned European comics as well. I was reading a French graphic novel last night, and it had so many background shots. It had too many background shots. I feel like the guy was, just like, I'm really good at backgrounds, and was kind of overdoing it. And I was reading it, like, I usually love background shots and everything in comics, and I just wasn't feeling it, and I couldn't understand why. And then eventually I started flicking back through it, and I realized, no, these are all traced photos. I mean, he's good at the tracing. He doesn't just like copy. He doesn't just make it look like a photo. But I could tell eventually, no, these are all just traced, sort of standing from eye height from there.
Yeah.
So every single, and he'll draw people into them, but every single point is just that boring, and you're far away from the the object in question, the background or whatever. It's a building over there. There's no, like, when I do backgrounds, I like to have something up close, like just say you're looking down on a cityscape, you put the edge of a building in, like right up close to the camera, and it just adds that depth and interest, and you get interesting angles. But if it just it's the same angle from the same height every single time, it gets really monotonous and boring.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me add this to the stream just for a minute while we got some people here. This is Slaughter Squad, and oh good, you got over 100 backers. Fantastic.
Just refresh that.
Oh, that's you doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Are you sharing my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, I just refreshed it. Jumped from 99 to 101 since the beginning of today, our stream.
Oh, excellent. Oh, cool. I'm claiming them, awesome. Joe. And yeah, but he still needs to get to 5K before he closes out. Come on, it's so close. So anyone who hasn't, check out Slaughter Squad. Joe's a great guy. There you go. There he's right there. You get a special sketch, bro. Nice. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so I just signed up to this. It's I'm really excited about this. So at this point in the story, if anyone who doesn't know, they're at this dance here now, and it's all about getting the clean shot. You said to the you explain it better than I can.
For the Earthbound 2.
Earthbound, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Spaceman versus Julia, and Spaceman has recruited way more of the school than she has, but she's recruited the guy who runs the planning commission for the dance. And so they both have their plan, and Spaceman's kind of like controlling everyone who gets into the dance, but then she's got like all the intel about what's in there, and they got their plan. Their plan is kind of to get to the giant float, and then that's a good sniper position for her, and to kind of start their battle. And like it's important, like, who controls the Sirens of Violence / the Slumber Party Squad, and because there's 4 girls there, and Julia has one of them, 1 of 4. 3 of them haven't been recruited, and so that's kind of like where we're starting at the end of part 1, beginning part 2.
Now remind people, the whole purpose of this is a hunt, and what are they hunting for?
Yeah, they're hunting to recruit basically like 5 warriors on Earth, kind of just like a draft for this big fighting tournament, like intergalactic fighting tournament. So they're like headhunters. They're sent to Earth. They're in competition with each other, and like their boss, who's kind of a bad guy-ish, he's saying basically whoever gets best of 5 gets to go free. The other one goes back into slavery. So you're fighting for your freedom. We're giving you a chance, some motivation. It's not even guaranteed it's true, but they're competing against each other, and they're ex-partners, kind of all 3 of them. So they don't quite like each other, but they have this past, and there is like some like complicated emotions there, like some friendship-ish type stuff, even with Spaceman. Some of that comes up more in the second part, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And who is the one who's already on Earth?
So the Sirens of Violence are on Earth, and WizKids on Earth. Those are the 5 targets.
Okay. Just for people who never got to read Earthbound, just giving them a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's like I said, it sounds zany.
Yeah,
it sounds pretty zany, but like when you get into it, you just kind of you get thrown right into it. You straight away know, okay, there's this sort of like interstellar sort of group, and I remember doing your review, just like falling over my words, just trying to describe this. You said the same thing, Blue. It is so hard to explain. Just go out and read it. go out and sign up to the mailing list so you can back it if you haven't read the first one. There they are there. That's at the start there.
Well, it's pretty simple. There's an intergalactic authority that controls bounty hunters.
Yeah, authority.
And
there you go.
these two who we see, dressed in white, I don't think they're naked. They're more like wearing some sort of weird white clothing with binds on their wrists. They are the bounty hunters to be sent out, and one bounty hunter is already hiding out on Earth in a high school. So they are to find him and 4 others, and that is the way that they will win their freedom. That's the background for the book. After that, it's all character, and it's all kind of funny. It's actually a lot of fun to read.
Yeah, something I was saying about it is it's structured a lot like Battle Royale. Do you guys remember that movie or book? Japanese, kind of cool. Or go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, so I was saying I never caught that one, but I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, or like the European version of that is, I don't know if chat knows, remind me, but there's like a ripoff of it that's like a westernized version. But that's where like the setup happens, then the plot, quote unquote, is just the strategy. So like in Battle Royale, it's like a fight to the death between 20 or like 40 students, and so some form alliances, some blah blah blah. They all just like try to survive, and then it just tracks that. And that's the book. And then the book's like this thick, because a lot of shit happens in that time. But there's no like yarn spinning other than just showing what happens. And this is kind of like that. Like once they get to Earth, it's just like they're trying to achieve the mission and things are happening based on that. So when that freed me up, like Blue said, to like you get to focus on character and stuff, which is nice and kind of charming and some maybe like kind of refreshing. It was refreshing to write too. When I realized that I had fallen into that position where I don't have to write a crazy plot. I can just have every character just do what they think will serve them best in any moment, and then that becomes the plot. Like I don't have to be beholden to like some clever twist or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
If you've set the world up, you set all the pieces in, on the board, and they all have their own motivations, and they're all, internally consistent according to the premise, then just let them do what they would do. And if it ends up to being a good story, then you've got a good thing on your hands.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Mo Biggs is here. He says, "How chat."
Hey Mo.
Who's late today, Mo?
Yeah.
Just kidding, buddy. Great to see you here.
Well, that's one thing I also noticed is, if I'm not mistaken, you sort of gave hints of that your character, hints in the first book, that your characters will be learning and growing, and therefore changing, perhaps even questioning their own premises. I forget the correct word for it, but they do think in 2 different ways, and those 2 different ways that they think don't always work for them, and that's what I've noticed so far. So, how many more volumes of this will there be?
Yeah, good question. So, part 2 wraps up this story, this script, and it's like a satisfying ending, and there could never be a sequel, but it doesn't address at all. One thing that this book references is the Galactic Grand Prix. That is not in this story at all. So I do eventually want to do a sequel, which would straight up be like, instead of like Earthbound Part 2, because this is kind of like Earthbound 1 is sort of Part 1 and 2, and then there'll actually be an Earthbound 2 in like 4 years. I haven't written it yet, but I have some ideas. But that would be, I can even give like the only quick pitch that I've put into the thought is that it would follow the Galactic Grand Prix, and the loose plot would be a lot like Enter the Dragon, where WizKid would actually enter the tournament as an undercover agent. So he's there, he has to fight, but he's there for an ulterior motive.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you mean is that the Earthbound 1 and 2, so the one you're going to sign up for now, when that comes out, that's going to finish off this Earthbound story, and that'll be the one big story of Earthbound.
Yeah, one big graphic novel.
How long, if you ever do, a book that's just that altogether, how many pages is that going to be all up?
I think it'd be like 240 or something. And there, a little quick side note that's kind of interesting. I wrote an Earthbound short, like, I don't know, a few months ago, and I hired Fresher Luke to draw it. So, and he drew it, so it's done, but I got to color it still and letter it. There's still work to be done, but that's cool. That's just floating out there as like a 20-page one-shot Earthbound short, and it's pretty good too. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like, I might release it with Earthbound Part 2 or hold on to it for a second, but so there's some
sounds cool. I've actually asked him to come on the show. We haven't locked anything down, but that is his book. What's the name of his book again?
Yeah, Forsaken Gods. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's live right now. Yeah, he's got a live campaign. He's a good
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. It looks really good. Is
Yeah,
he
it
is
does.
he Australian? Or does he just have an
Yeah,
accent?
yeah. He moved from Australia like 10 years ago, something like that. He lives in LA
Okay.
right now.
I thought, oh, this guy's Australian, and then he was saying other things like, no, he's not. Where the hell is this guy from?
Yeah.
You get that that mix of accents sometimes. Blue, there's a guy in the chat here, Sigmate Studios, who's of Asian heritage, and Blue had never heard the mix of the Asian accent with the Australian before.
Oh, yeah.
And it's when you go to other countries as well, then you hear like Chinese in France or in Germany, and they all have their own spin on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've heard that either. Now that you mention it, that'd be funny.
Oh, yeah, if you ever catch him on a stream, it's amazing to hear an Asian accent, and then but when they speaking English, and then the vowels are all wrong, and it's like, oh, that's Asian Australian. No way, it actually works. It's kind of frightening at first, but
yeah, I barely even heard that he had an accent at all, because it's just, I mean, that's just normal for me.
But Australians don't have accents. Americans do.
No,
we know how
course
this
not.
goes.
Yeah, we can hear it. No. Hey, did you see? I'm going to pull something up because you're tangentially related to this, Narwhal, because you're going to start appearing in it very soon. I hear on the grapevine.
Oh, I know what you're going to show. Yeah, let's look at it.
We have grapes.
Oh, we do have grapes. So our good friend Camel Moon has just launched the trailer. This is the official trailer, I'm guessing, of his Indiegogo campaign. Better late than never, as they say. Let's take a look at this thing. Prepare for Fury Road Comicsgate. I did. Let me know if I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I did. But now you're making me doubt myself. I'll just hit play.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Cool.
Yeah, boy, Zach. Bandito.
I guess he's waiting for the next cartoon, the next episode to include you, Narwhal, your little ice cream cone.
I know. I can't wait. That design is growing on me more and more. It's pretty funny.
Well, he's.
Are
Sorry,
you
were you
an
gonna say
ice cream cone?
Yeah, I'm like a narwhal ice cream cone.
Okay.
Have you not seen it, Blue?
I have not seen it.
I'm pretty sure we actually premiered it on this show, and we were all like, "Okay, I think I'm feeling it." And then it hit us that Narwhal says some pretty out there things sometimes. grandma stories and poo stories to see this little cute thing with his little rainbow thing on. I think there's some good juxtaposition going on there. Oh, Narwhal is on the t-shirt now on the Indiegogo campaign. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
All right, where is it? Hail salad. Famous now. Getting there. Everyone loves a bit of dead air while I search for another campaign.
I'm trying to write a tweet for Slaughter Squad, so I'm not here to fix your dead air, except for by telling you that I'm not here to fix your dead air. Are you there yet? Are you there yet? Are we there yet?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Don't you worry about it.
I want to sell some shirts eventually. I put up a shirt like a year ago, a Soy Zorro shirt, and I think I sold like 2, but it didn't really catch on. But maybe the Narwhal brand has grown. Try again.
And then after all that, I'm looking on the campaign and I can't see it. So that was all. That was awesome. It's on his Twitter apparently.
Yeah.
It was on his Twitter apparently. Oh well. And speaking of Twitter, did you see this one, Narwhal? The apology. No, not the apology. The statement. The what would you call it? The corporate statement from Dynamite.
Oh, I actually haven't read it yet. Let me read it really quick, and you guys can talk about it while I read it even.
I'll read it out loud for the chat too. Dynamite Entertainment is a partner in the fight for equality and inclusion. Our company was founded on these core values more than 15 years ago, and they are essential to the creative process. The work of visionary artists and entrepreneurs that we are passionate about. Intolerance has no place in our company or our industry. The impulse behind this brief association was that of helping a friend of many decades and his family, and not how that assistance could potentially affect our valued colleagues, partners, and friends. That association is behind us, and this time has strengthened our resolve to continue working with the most diverse talent in creating the best comics possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all that coded language is annoying.
Where do you go to? What school do you go to be able to write like that? Corporate speak.
Yeah, you
just
go to like
buzzword central. There must be a buzzword thesaurus.
Yeah, it's so much buzzwords that it feels extra fake. Like, and I've heard that people don't believe him on the other side. It didn't do him any favors. SJW still want to cancel him.
No, I saw one of those too, where it's like, this is not enough. Here's what would have been sufficient, but that's such a lie. It wouldn't, whatever more.
No, nothing would be sufficient. Once he's on his knees, and there's, he's got a bit of a bloody nose. Then it's the feeding frenzy is on. Yeah, you're not. You wouldn't be alone if you didn't know the full context of this story, Jack. You wouldn't be alone to know what the hell is this person talking about. So basically, it's saying that because Dynamite is here's what I said. I said in plain language, we're fighting for inclusion by excluding unpersoned creators like EVS and Cecil, and dissociating with thousands of customers from every walk of life, which is basically anyone in CG or anyone who's kind of CG adjacent or whatever who has balls and standards. These guys will throw you under the bus at a second's notice, apparently. And,
it's like a soulless drone, what he's saying. And like, if he had to read that on TV, you'd look at his eyes and you'd be thinking like his eyes are saying like, call the police. But we wouldn't. Now I'm kind of mad at him, or like, screw that guy, Nick Barucci. So.
Yeah, these are all hostage notes. Or notes from hostages.
Yeah, that's what I mean for sure.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it because it's just it reminds you. Do you remember that Simpsons episode where there's a controversy in the school because Principal Skinner says boys are better at maths?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, there's a scene out of that episode, and it is so perfect because it was written, 25 years ago, where he's just saying, he's just saying everything. He's just like, what do you want me to say? If I say that, boys aren't better at maths, then you say, what are you saying that about girls? And if I say, well, girls are good at this, or what is the, it's just like, just tell me what you want me to say. And then he comes out and he says, look, I'm fine with my feminine side. And he's wearing a dress. And then they say, no, you're mocking this. It's actually really prescient. And it reminds me of this. It is just a hostage letter. I mean, no one starts Dynamite Entertainment was not started as a partner for the fight of equality and inclusion. So straight off, it starts off with an outright lie. And everyone knows that's not why the company was started.
Well, the pressure campaign he was facing was people with Dynamite contracts threatening to quit because they were told by whoever else, I think it was Mark Russell and Gail Simone, oh, hey, did you know that Nick Barucci has this contract with another project he's going to publish that you are no part of whatsoever and is none of your damn business? And it's, that contract is with Cecil, no way. And so they all ganged up and individually telling him, I mean, they knew what each other were doing, but threatening to quit and saying, you'll have no one working the books you want to sell if you don't disassociate from Cecil and CG.
It's also crazy. How is this an industry? It boggles the mind to think.
It's Gail Simone.
You know what I thought the other day is, like, at some point the industry kind of completely flipped to where, like, no, they aren't hiring any more straight white males. I think that happened at a certain point, like 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then, but there are a bunch of straight white males in the industry at that point. So they're the ones who are like grandfathered in, and they all suck. Like they're the ones who are like, oh, it's not, there's no fucking cancel culture. You guys got to stop complaining. It's not so bad, blah, blah, blah. And also those are the guys who, like, I think they're like hacks, almost all of them. They're like, aren't that talented. So which kind of does support, maybe there was like, the industry was like a corrupt hiring your white buddy or whatever for a while before. Then it just flipped completely. Now it's hire your lesbian friend or whatever. But
yeah.
Mo Big says Dynamite was founded for the sole purpose of combating racism and sexism. They were tired of standing by while doing nothing while Marvel and DC formed lynch mobs against minorities. I mean, yeah, that definitely sounds like an accurate representation of what took place. Check this out. The Milk Girl herself. This was tweeted just last night. Yeah. Still waiting for any accountability from Jay. That's Jay Lee.
Yeah, she's such a bully. She's such, like, everything she claims that we are. It's what she is.
Yeah, in what industry do you demand? Do you feel like you're entitled, like Critical Blast is saying here? What does he say here? Unless Jay Lee is doing covers for Valiant, which he wasn't, it is embarrassingly presumptive for editor Heather Antos to be expecting some sort of how do you pronounce that? Obeisance. From our perspective, he doesn't owe indeed anybody anything. To imagine that you're working for a company and some guy in some other company that you're not even involved in does a job for someone that you don't like, and then you're over there in your other unrelated company saying, well, I mean, he needs to be brought to heel for this. I'm waiting. I'm sitting here waiting for any accountable from that guy over there. What industry is this? Who would tweet that?
Yeah, I described it a minute ago as Gail Simone's fiefdom, and I really shouldn't be so narrow. These people each act like comics is their fiefdom, and yet they don't mind each other. They're not really competing with each other. Heather versus Gail, for example, or Gail versus Mark Russell. But yeah, these busybodies go out of their way to. I mean, okay, look. I have to look at Narwhal's face, and if I were to say, Narwhal, do all these things with your eyebrows, it's like, who gives a shit? What's this busybody crap going on? Narwhal's eyebrows are his own. Leave them alone. They literally can't do this. This is from my experience, I believe this is truly a psychological problem that is deep seated. So we need a hashtag, leave Narwhal's eyebrows alone. All right, I'll start that one. But it's the mother hen syndrome where these people have no boundaries. They think nothing of going after. Well, let's just put it this way. Gail Simone did have a contract with Dynamite for projects she was on. That has nothing to do with Dynamite's contract with other people. And yet she and Russell dove in to make something of this anyway. It's none of their damn business. And they don't have the emotional maturity to know that some things are just none of their business. By the way, I like your eyebrows, Narwhal.
So does 6 a.m. Comics. He loves Narwhal's flawless face.
I love 6 a.m. Comics too.
Everyone does. It's every stream I go on.
6 a.m. Comics, come over sometime. I'll show you how squeaky my futon is.
Okay.
But then your isn't it your landlord who's like no squeaking after 10 p.m.? So you have to make sure you come over early enough.
Yeah.
Wait, at the Fan Fest, we're still raffling off a massage by Narwhal, aren't we?
Yeah, and someone mentioned a kissing booth too. I'll do that. Dating advice. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh man, can you imagine? Hey, no, seriously, that's how you can grow your channel and do good outreach for normies and bring them into Comicsgate is like Narwhal's romance shows.
That's funny.
They could go viral. I mean, the reason things turn into memes because they hit somewhere. Yeah, Antos wants to talk to Jay Lee's manager. It's exactly right. It just people. Most of us have all worked in a job somewhere. Can you imagine going up to someone and kind of like being snitching on someone, especially if they're from another company? Oh, this person, he talked to him. What does that call it? Internet cooties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go to Narwhal's printer and tell them how bad of a person he is so that they don't print his book. I mean, good Lord. Your book's fine. I'm anticipating it, sir.
Yeah. Have you heard the stories he tells on Ethan's streams? It's in front of thousands of people. Do you want to be associated with that?
Oh, wow.
6 a.m. says he'd rough Portland to find out. Yeah, you got to get through all the fireworks to get to Narwhal's place.
Speaking of which, Narwhal, I know you haven't moved yet. Are you feeling safe?
Yeah. I think I was telling Michael I can hear fireworks at night, but I'm like 5 or 6 miles from downtown, so it's not that big a deal.
How big is the area where it's all happening?
I think lately, it's just the courthouse. So it's like one big siege on the courthouse, and maybe like 100 to 200 like real shitty protesters. But then a while back, it was all of downtown, and the mobs were quite huge, like whatever 500 to 1,000 or something. Yeah.
I heard the police are starting to like crack down on it and get people to move on. Is that happening? Do you know?
Yeah, there was. I don't know just in the last day, there's been news. So it's like there was for a while a bunch of controversy that the federal police were kind of doing everything because the local police either they don't want to or they're ordered to stand down, which is weird. So they're doing nothing. So the federal police is doing everything, and then everyone's mad about that, including like the the Oregon governor and the Portland mayor are kind of being like classic annoying Democrats, like playing both sides of being like, we don't want you guys here anyway. So then last I heard was that maybe they were going to work with the federal police finally, and maybe the federal police were going to leave. They're doing some deal, but I don't know how that's working yet.
I don't know how you guys go through this stuff every 4 years. It's like your country becomes insane every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty nutty.
Are you seeing in the local news, if you catch any local news, some of the things we've heard, like over in Portland and Seattle, and other places, somewhere Minnesota, I forget where all. It's the same crap over and over again. But is this in Portland where the mayors are saying we won't enforce law, and so criminals run free, and then if the president says, all right, this is getting to a point where the National Guard may need to come in, then they use that to say the president is evil in some way, like fascist or whatever, for enforcing law. But at the same time, they cry that the problem where they could have handled the problem by not telling their law enforcement back down. So they're claiming Trump created the problem. Hey, law enforcement, back off, don't enforce law. And then when Trump wants to come in and fix the problem, they say, oh, now you're evil for fixing it, but it's a problem you created. Like the whole triple standard, like double negative logic. Is Portland's mayor one of those insane types?
Yeah, I think so. But it's weird because you'd think he maybe could get red pilled because they attacked his mansion and wherever he lives, they were fucking with his building. And then he did crack down on him. And then he did try and walk out and protest with them one night. And they fucked with them then too. And they don't want anything to do with him. So but it's he's got that deep ideology. And then he's a politician. So they're just, they virtue signal that kind of brand of whatever politics he is. They virtue signal worse than anyone.
Yeah, that was really complicated to try and describe. It's create the problem, making it appear to be the other person's fault, then blame the other person for acting on their responsibility to fix it. There it is.
Yeah.
People often say that I live in the Portland of Australia. The people who know about such things. So I've never been to the States, but that's what they say. They say Melbourne, where I live, is the Portland of Australia. And luckily, we don't have our mayor or whatever, aren't going out and joining in violent protests or anything like that. But we do have a big element of that kind of people with that ideology.
Yeah. You don't have Antifa yet, but you will.
We do. We have Antifa, but everyone's kind of really locked down now, and because that side of the political divide is really gung ho about the whole lockdown. It's been politicized in a weird way now that if you're on the left, you're really gung ho about the lockdown and masks and everything. So they're in a weird place because they also did want to go out for the Black Lives Matter protest, and that's probably. We had those protests here as well when that was all happening a couple of months back. And then literally we had no virus for a month or so, no new cases. And then 2 weeks after their protest, it's exploded and we have more than ever. We're getting hundreds and hundreds of new cases every day. But no one wants to seem to kind of look at those two things and wonder if, there's any causation there. That
happened in America too. Yeah, it's the left loves the lockdown, the right hates the lockdowns. I definitely lean to the right on that. And then the right has that point of looking at the double standard, being wait a minute, you want lockdowns, but then you're allowing huge protests and marches. This makes no sense.
And the protests were right at the end of May, I think the 25th or 26th. The new cases were all 2 weeks later, and they tried to say that the new cases were because of opening up at the beginning of May, in which cases the new cases would have shown up 4 weeks earlier if that were true. So they just outright lie. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm flipping through that Baza book, Mike, to find a description of Melbourners that someone from Sydney gave. I'll see if I can find it.
He's got there's a guy, he actually puts up books on Indiegogo. Narwhal is an Australian, and he doesn't actually sell them to America. He had to make a special tier to deliver them to Blue, because he didn't think any Americans would be interested. It's called Baza the Bogan Barbarian, and I don't know if you know what a bogan is. It's like a semi-equivalent to a redneck, sort of, but it's its own thing. It's not really equivalent. You got to kind of, I guess you got to kind of be here to know the ins and outs of it. Rick Saylor says people want the lockdown because they have no jobs.
In America we have insane. I kind of missed this part of the story, but there's insane unemployment. Unemployment pays a ton of money, and that's just stopping. But it's been going on for 4 or 5 months now. So that's been weird. People don't want to go back to work because they prefer unemployment while this is happening. And it's kind of like a weird Band-Aid too, because it means people, yeah, they like the lockdown. People are not freaking out. They're like, hey, life is good. Let's keep doing this. But of course, it's gonna really be troublesome down the line. It's like kicking the ball down the field or whatever.
Yeah, we noticed that back in March, April, that a lot of these unemployment and aid numbers were designed to get people paid more for being unemployed. That that was mostly coming out in April.
Yeah, and that's one too. Like that makes no sense, and it's like Democrats again being weird. Someone in the chat, Crackhead, I think, said they're trying to fuck with Trump, kind of, and I can sometimes see that. It's like, well, like why would you make unemployment more like incentivized than employment ever? Why would you do that ever? It totally makes no sense, other than maybe if you're just trying to fuck with the economy to screw over Trump in 2020.
Yeah, didn't Bill Maher say that he wants a recession because then that's how they can get rid of There's real people involved in this equation. In fact, there's quite a lot of them.
And real production. If everybody's locked down, eventually you run out of people to produce things like transporting food, harvesting food. And as we're closing, I did find the page if you want it, Michael. So,
what page is that? What did you find?
One character asks, they mentioned Melbourne, and this story takes place in Sydney. And so one character, they're like, oh, Melbourne. Oh, okay, geez. But yeah, what's wrong with Melbourne? Nothing if you like cafe latte, cobblestone, street Euro, artsy fartsy foodie types with schizophrenic weather. And I thought of wait, Mike lives in Melbourne.
That's actually a very good description. I mean, that should be our tourist slogan. If you like cobblestone alleys with lattes and our street art, people travel all over the world who like street art to come see our street art. So we have alleys, like just lanes of old lanes that people have graffitied over, and everyone looks at them like they're standing in a gallery. People will go there and stand like this in a dirty old stinky lane with with garbage at their feet and look up at the art and go, yes, like they're in a museum. It's really weird. I thought that was actually pretty kind. They could have gone way harder on us than that. And we do have schizophrenic weather. I mean, I vividly remember walking down to a shop, and it's a 2-minute walk, and it's beautifully sunny out. And then in the middle of it, I got a thunderstorm. And then by the time I got to the shop, it was beautifully sunny again.
So, Narwhal, how many signups have you gotten in the past hour? What are we up to?
Oh, I'll check. It'll take me a second here.
And yeah, there's a lot of places in the States with schizophrenic weather like that. Just this saying is always, oh, just wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, and who did? Jack asked if it's a hick. No, it's not. It's a weird thing with the bogan, because back in the 80s it was sort of an insult, and now it can be an insult and also a thing of an affection. It's sort of like working class now as well. So you get what's called a cashed up bogan, which is someone who's from a working class background who's now wealthy, and they live in a really nice house, and they have all the cool cars and everything, but they're still from a working class background, so they don't act like people who've always grown up in wealth. There's a whole thing going on there with the bogan.
The last time I checked it, guys, it was at 180, and that was like yesterday at some time, and it's at 208 now. So that's awesome.
Nice.
It definitely went up a bunch. Just in the last
awesome.
time. Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. And I signed up. Everyone here, if you haven't signed up, it doesn't cost you anything. Just click on the link. Felix has been in here like a champ, dropping links.
Yeah, you get
the whole time. And I've got it in the description as well. So yeah, get on it. Why not? And you said, you're going to be launching this in a couple of months, yeah?
Yeah, it'll be 2 or 3 months.
Are you gonna try and get the book finished? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I'm getting it close, but the main thing I got to do before I launch is just fulfill foreign agent. As soon as I do that, I'll launch this. That'll take a couple months.
And you're looking for how many signups, hopefully?
It'd be cool to get to 500. I'd feel real good about that.
I think you're definitely going to get there.
Yeah, it's at 208. So yeah, keep just posting the link here and there.
Hey, this is your new. You've got a little emoji now. You're the ice cream cone cup thing. That's you now. Because everyone puts Camel Moon. They put the camel and the moon, and now this is you. All right, so we're actually rounded. We've actually gone a little bit over talking about all this stuff, but it's been great to have you on, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's awesome. Good to be back. I want to come on again sometime too. And you can come on my channel anytime, either of you.
Yeah, excellent. I'd love to get you back when we do another late night with Comicsgate, when we're all just hanging out and drinking.
Yeah,
you're a lot of fun when we do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You just have to promise to keep your clothes on.
No, why would you do that? No, promise to take them off. I mean, as long as we don't get struck, a little bit of narwhal skin, gets the people. That's what the people want. Give us
my tattoos.
Shoulders and bellies only.
I've been losing weight. I've been inspired because of women, so I've been losing.
How have you been losing weight?
Just jogging. I jog a lot, and I jog and I punch the air. I go,
I don't have time for that anymore. I used to do that as well. I still run a bit like Rocky.
Yeah.
But I don't got time for that anymore. Leodar is right. Smash that like button. And Mo Biggs is double right. Hail the chat. Sexiest chat in CG. Thanks so much to everyone who's come out. This has been a big show for us. Obviously, a lot of fans of Narwhal out there. They're all super excited to sign up, hopefully, and see the final installment of this really cool story. We got new people in here too. Payback Productions. Great to see you here. And jogging and cocaine. Yeah, that'll do it. That will really do it. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. See you later. Bye.